on social media that your girl and your mom, there was all that hanging out, and I just wanted to just follow up on that. Was it as great as it seemed, or was it her mom? I forget what the hangout was.
My mom came to St. Pete for 8 days to sleep in my living room, and then she got to meet my girlfriend for the first time.
Not while she was in the living room.
No, literally. I mean, I was working Sunday 2 weeks ago, and then my girlfriend, the princess that she is, she picked her up from the airport while I was at work. So the first time I saw my mom in 16 months was in the living room where my girlfriend and mom had just met 20 minutes prior when she got her at the airport.
Wow. And everything went great.
Everything went good. I mean, it's just like, imagine having your mom there for anyone's mom for 8 days. Like, there's times where you get on each other's nerves and that, but it's one of those things where when my mom's here, she can drive me nuts at times, but then like when she leaves, it was like weird. Like, her presence is so like there because she's my mom. It's comforting, but it's also chaotic because she's my mom. That she left Monday last week at like 5 a.m, and my girlfriend drove her to the airport, and then my girlfriend had work that morning. So when I got up at like 9 a.m, the house was like dead quiet, and it was very like eerie, like, because for 8 days it was just her watching TV, her cooking breakfast. So then like when I had the house to myself, it almost like I didn't really shed a tear, but it was just bizarre. I was like, man, it's empty in here.
Oh, that's crazy. Well, but I do think that's a weird thing, with my whole moving thing, is that I'm going to miss seeing my parents, the ability to see them. But in the end, I think like even with your mom, there's a thing, it's good to have that break also. And it's good that you got to go and live your life. And it makes you more of a man is the wrong word because that's weird. But it makes you just sort of like you don't have a fallback. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's like when my mom's here, it's not that I become a kid again, but then like I feel like I wasn't working as hard. Like I took the week off of my podcast, Hoppe Radio. You can see on every single podcasting platform. And it was just like, there was a... RyanHoppeRadio.com. But literally, it was like once my mom was gone, it was motivating because for like a week, I just kind of relaxed. We went to Sunken Gardens. I took her to the beach. Like, I have all these fun memories, but then it was like, okay, it's go time, because I have a new show premiering on Tuesday online. So I have all these things going for me, all these huge things that are going for me. But for the week, it was good to kind of, even though it wasn't relaxing, to relax at the same time.
Well, I think that what happens is whenever you get around your past, you revert back to that past.
No question.
So when I first moved from New York, I was way more sarcastic, and I moved out to San Francisco, and no one out there was, and I stopped being that guy. I sort of moved out to meet the guy I wanted to become. Then when I moved back to Florida and my family started moving down near me, you just go back to those. Everyone takes their role on in their family, and you just kind of pick up where you left off. And it sucks because when you leave that dynamic and go home, you're like, why was I like that? Why, whenever I'm with my sisters, do I act this way? Whenever I'm with my mom, do I act this way? When that's not who I am anymore. But it's still who you are because it's kind of who you were.
And the thing too is like, she asked me if I had any interest in visiting Chicago, and it's like none of the kids that I grew up with like even like talk to me anymore. So I was like, it'd be great to see my aunts and uncles, but I got social media. Like, why don't you come down here? Because like every time I've gone back home 5 times in 6 years or 7 years, and it's just like I just can't wait to get back to Tampa. Like it just doesn't feel like home anymore.
Right. Well, there you go. So how does that go? At the beginning of the show, I was talking about you moved away, so you have that. Ben moved away. I did. Lisa also. Do you still have via social media? You said you can still talk with your aunts and uncles and stuff. Do you also have like all the people you went to high school?
None of them.
They're not friends of yours.
Well, I unfriended everybody because I was friends with pretty much everybody that I went to class with. So I had 1,200 friends from just growing up, and that was 1,200 spots of listeners. I reached my 5,000 limit. So I was like, why am I keeping in touch with these people I'm never going to see again? I'm not going to go to my 10-year reunion, none of it. So I was like, let me just unfriend everybody. And then I added all the people that were trying to send me a friend request, like maybe 1,000. This is about 2 years ago. And then ever since then, through the roof, I've had social media interaction left and right with listeners. And it was the best thing I did because, like, I was like, why am I looking at Eric, who is the biggest douchebag to me? Why am I looking at him going and getting drunk at a nice bar in Chicago? Like, that has no interest in my life. I would rather see a hardworking listener in Sefner, you know, being a pickup driver, and I'll give his post a heart. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather interact with the people that keep my show going and keep this place going, you know?
Instead of like your, you know, childhood memories going. So when you do look up old friends, do you find yourself, do you judge them? Are you comparing yourself against them and doing all that stuff?
It only happens when I'm on LinkedIn because there's no way to like unfriend people on LinkedIn. It's just too much work, and it took a lot of effort to unfriend everybody on Facebook. So when I'm on LinkedIn, it'll be like, Eric has a new promotion as... Well, that was the kid that made fun of me all the time, but it's not really him. It's just like everybody. It'll be like Marissa's got a job as a promotions manager at Chase Bank or whatever, Chicago branch. And it's just like, I try not to think about money, but then you'll see everybody. But then you got to realize that everybody just puts on their best act on social media. So I'll give it a like. I mean, it's just the one thing that I got to really work on is like the popular kids that I graduated with. They'll announce that they got a new job and it gets like 80 likes from everybody I graduated with. And they're like, oh, good job. You're doing so well the last 10 years. But then I'll announce that my podcast got picked up by 2 networks. And then it's like, I just get interaction within radio. But then I have to tell myself, Don, that I'm living in the past and I should just keep working and not look for the acceptance of people on radio, but that people on radio reaching out means more than some jackass from Illinois.
Isn't it crazy that you do that? Even that comes up in your head. Like,
I hate it.
Yeah, right? Because I do the same thing, and I'll look and it's like, oh, for some reason someone will pop up because they'll say, I'll get something from an old friend's like, we really need to write a song together, and I'm just thinking there's not a chance that's going to happen. So you'll get that, and then someone else will pop up, and then you go down this little wormhole.
It's the worst.
How's Melissa doing? You look and then you see that they're all still doing sort of the same thing. There's nothing wrong with any of that. So it's going to sound like I'm saying something is. Nothing is wrong. It's just that we're different people. So why am I wondering what their life is doing when it really has no consequence on mine? Not to.
And then the thing, too, is this is what really hurt me, and this is why I don't talk to anybody from my graduation class, was whenever I would go back, they would ask about how much money I made and, like, if I was making any progress. You know what I mean? And it was like, ooh, well, I make $70,000 and I work at this place. And everybody was, like, braggy, and everybody was getting the most expensive beers. And I'd be like, hey, can I get a Bud Light? And they're like, you don't want to try the craft of the day? And I'm like, man, I just never want to come back here.
Yeah, I get that. There's there's a certain amount of expectation that people, if they see your life, and again, everyone's putting their best life on social media, when they see yours, they're doing the same thing. So if you're doing this, they're doing it, and they're thinking, wow, his life's better, so they need to do something to make you feel small to make them feel big.
And I get this a lot, too. I worked on this show in Cleveland, and, like, they'll rip into me occasionally, and I want to respond so badly on social media. I want to go after them. But then they'll talk about me on air. But if I respond on social media, they don't respond back. So, like, that's another thing of, like, I'm sure you have bandmates that have talked bad about you behind your back, maybe from the 90s. And, like, you want to respond so badly, but then you realize you just got to let it go. And then the best solution for me is either meditating, getting laid, or working out, and it fixes everything.
Well, the other thing that fixes everything is you just having the success that makes you.
Hell yeah, Don.
I don't care. First of all, the good thing is I believe I believe I'm probably, and I'd be interested in what other people are. I'm probably in the like 95 percentile that anyone I ever knew, I'm still at least friendly with to some degree. And I've made amends with people that I wasn't. Like there was an old bandmate that he and I were not friends. It ended poorly. Ben knows the guy. And now he and I are friends again. I've reached out because I don't like to have that bad blood for no reason, you know. It doesn't make any sense to me. But I also, the best revenge is that if people can say whatever they want, they go on my page and they see, like, there's a photo of me jumping over a drum set. Like,
hell yeah, bro.
Yeah, so you still do it.
Don't break your back, bro.
Nah, I'm going to do my best. So I am right now thinking I'm going to stop doing like I was deep diving the last couple of days into people. So I'm not going to do that anymore. Even though I need to ask you this, Brian, since you're such a successful young man now, LinkedIn. Are you a fan of LinkedIn?
Pre-2016, when it was just people talking about their lives, now everybody right or left side posts their propaganda about politicians, and it's just nauseating. It's bizarre, and it's more like it's smarmier too, where on Facebook there's kind of this thing where people are not always acting like their opinion is the correct one. They're kind of open for debate. But there's this weird arrogance about LinkedIn politics where if it's a person that's got power, that's the president of a company, that they think their opinion is correct, and then everyone's ass kissing, and it's sickening.
All right. Well, because I just, believe it or not, have just really started having my LinkedIn even matter.
I'm going to send you a request.
I think, look, depending on what you're on social media for, right? I think besides, as far as networking, as far as now, I don't think it's as political.
Oh, I do.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
No.
Well, I have over 6,000 connections. Like I've just over. No, I'm not. Over the last, I made my LinkedIn in 2010, so I was 16 years old. So I sent a friend request to everybody in radio, everybody in media. So I just see it all. And then if a person likes a post that has over 10,000 likes, it'll show up. So whatever.
10,000 likes.
I've never reached that many likes, but I'm saying there's posts that show up on my feed that get 10,000 likes and I have to see it. Like, here's a post right here. Put the salary in the job description. No one should have to take time off work to find out the job they interview for pay is significantly less, even if one president is in office compared to the other. Like, and that post has 9,000 likes. All right. Here's another one. Joe's first 71 days. No golf trips, no insults, no racist rhetoric, no whining, no complaining, no bragging. And I don't care. I didn't vote. I don't care. But it's just like that. Like, and then you'll see one guy that's like, I miss my president, and it'll be like Trump. It's all over. I'm looking down. I see a Bernie
following. Who are in the same business field or in the same markets that I'm in or domains that I'm in, and it's not a lot of political stuff.
All right.
We got to go to break soon.
All right, well, Ben has a different experience. Listen, we just wasted that time. We're never going to get back, but there's more to come here.
Isn't that the whole thing of the show, wasting time?
Yeah, that's a good point. It's only going to get better from here. So welcome to your Saturday with us. Miggs and Swig Show back after these words.
You're listening to Miggs and Swig on 102.